It's time once again for everybody to jump aboard the knowledge train. Here are 50 amazing facts to blow your mind. When Ford released the Model T in 1908, it cost $825, adjusted to about $28,000 in 2023. Despite the popularity, about 15 million would eventually be sold. Ford kept dropping the price over the years, and by 1925, the basic model cost $260, the equivalent of about $4,500 today. Birds and crocodilians, the order containing both alligators and crocodiles, share a common clade classification called Archosauria, i.e. the ruling reptiles. This indicates that they shared a common ancestor around 250 million years ago, along with many kinds of dinosaurs. At the time of the French Revolution, the majority of people in France did not speak French. When Tsarevich Nicholas, later Nicholas II, visited Japan in 1891, an attempt on his life was made by a man wielding a katana. His cousin, Prince George of Greece, saved his life by parrying the sword with his cane. Like a true gentleman. While filming the 1997 movie Gummo, Harmony Korine insisted on using regular people in places. Some of the houses were so disgusting that most of the film crew insisted on wearing hazmat suits during filming. When composer Joseph Haydn died, his head was stolen for study by people practicing phrenology, the pseudoscientific study of how the shape of one's skull reflects their intellect. His skull was eventually returned and interred with the rest of his body in 1954, 145 years later. Pathological demand avoidance, or PDA, is a disorder characterized by extreme uncontrollable anxiety in the face of anything perceived as a demand. Those with PDA may try to avoid not only the demands of others, but also the demands of their own body, such as for hunger or sleep. A 1986 Cleveland charity event released 1.5 million balloons, causing car accidents, airport closures, and hindering a Coast Guard search that ended with 2 drownings. Tweezers are known to have been used in pre-dynastic Egypt. There are drawings of Egyptian craftsmen holding hot pots over ovens with a double bow-shaped tool. In 1998, Gerald Blanchard parachuted onto an Austrian castle at night to steal the jewel, the Star of Empress Sissi. He swapped it with a gift shop replica, and the theft wasn't noticed for 2 weeks. His bold stunt and attention to detail made it one of the most daring heists in modern history. None of the writers of Take Me Home Country Roads had ever been to West Virginia, and they used an encyclopedia to look up facts about it. The song was mainly inspired by one of the writers' upbringing in Springfield, Massachusetts, but he didn't think the word Massachusetts was musical. One of the World War II German physician Johanna Harar's child-rearing strategies was that newborns should be placed in a separate room from their mother for the first 3 months of the baby's life, with only strictly regulated breastfeeding visits from her of no longer than 20 minutes during that period. Oliver Stone was working on a movie called Company Man about the Iran-Contra scandal starring Paul Newman, and timed to be released right before the 1988 presidential election. When producers wouldn't guarantee the release date, Stone halted the project to make talk radio instead. Fox's In Living Color aired a live episode during the 1992 Super Bowl halftime, pulling over 20 million viewers and forcing the NFL to rethink halftime shows, leading to Michael Jackson's iconic 1993 performance. By the way, for you youngins that don't know, that was a classic show. In Living Color. Jimmy Carter promised to release all government UFO information if he became president. However, after being elected, he chose not to, citing national security concerns. In Chinese folklore, there is a fabled matchmaker called the Old Man Under the Moon who unites predestined couples with a silken cord, and whose legends serve as a basis for the famous Red String of Fate. Prolific Hollywood prosthetic makeup artist Tom Savini served as a combat photographer in Vietnam, and this later influenced his style of gory effects. Savini said, "I hated when I watched a war movie and someone dies. Some people die with one eye open and one eye half closed." Wisconsin produces over half of all the cranberries in the world. 5% are sold fresh, and the majority is for sauce, juice, dried fruit, etc. In fact, settlers called the fruit craneberry because the blossoms resembled the head of the sandhill crane. It takes about 4,400 cranberries to make 1 gallon of juice. In 1947, a researcher at the University of Wisconsin-Madison mutated blue cheese mold, accidentally creating a colorless blue cheese. The cheese made from this mutated mold was dubbed New World cheese and is still being produced for sale in small quantities. Blue cheese is really nasty when you think about it, but it's good in certain ways, like dipping your wings in it. The nursery rhyme Mary Had a Little Lamb is a true story about a woman named Mary Elizabeth Sawyer. The thynid wasp and the orchid Dracheoglyptodon have a relationship involving sexual deception. The female wasp is flightless, so she climbs on the top of plants to signal potential mates. This flower has evolved to resemble the female wasp. The males mistake it for the female and fertilize it. Frank's sign is a crease that may form on your earlobe that can be a sign of poor cardiovascular health. During World War II, pilots frequently blacked out during turns as strong G-forces caused blood pooling in their legs. Douglas Bader, a British ace, did not have this problem because his legs had been amputated after an accident. A community of escaped slaves in colonial Brazil founded their own confederated kingdom that lasted for almost 90 years, with a population of around 11,000. The last 2 American Democratic presidents to die were Lyndon B. Johnson, who became president when Kennedy was assassinated in 1963, and Harry S. Truman, who was president in 1945 during World War II. Book from the Sky was a 1987 book designed in the style of a medieval Chinese manuscript, but all 4,000 Chinese characters in it are invented by the author and have no meaning. The Song Dynasty created paper money to match its booming economy and also drove it off a cliff with hyperinflation. Rhinos are actually dehorned in Africa to deter poaching, resulting in a 30% lower chance the rhino will get killed by poachers. The famous B-17 crash landing scene in Tora 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 was not old stock footage. The aircraft used during the filming experienced an actual landing gear failure, and the emergency landing was recorded by the film crew. Since no one was injured, they decided to use the footage in the movie. The first commercial patent for a baby cage was filed in 1922 by Emma Reed of Spokane, Washington. Yes, dangle your baby out of a window, but hey, at least they get fresh air and sunshine. The Amish have a lower cancer rate than the rest of the population. In 2017, big tobacco companies were finally forced to air ads in the US that admitted that their products were deadly and addictive. This came 11 years after appeals by the companies to delay and weaken the nature of the ads. There was an activist group in the UK named Clandestine Insurgent Rebel Clown Army, or CIRCA, in 2003 to 2005. In 2005, a clown gathering prompted the deployment of 10,000 officers. The group declined after Operation Ha Ha Ha, helping authorities house arrest half-witted authoritarian androids. In Cowboy Bebop, the voice actors Spike Spiegel, Steve Blum, and Julia Mary Elizabeth McGlynn are married in real life. The least densely populated county in the US, east of the Mississippi River, is Hamilton County, New York, with 3 people per square mile. The world's smallest flower is the watermeal. The plant is about 1/42 of an inch long and 1/85 of an inch wide, and weighs about as much as 2 grains of salt. It grows on the surface of freshwater lakes or marshes. The anticoagulant coumadin, aka warfarin, was derived from a substance found in moldy clover that was killing cattle. The name warfarin comes from the Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation, WARF, which sponsored the research. Hi, sweetie. Baby Sansa. Hi, sweetie. I love you. You want to say hi to everybody in the outtakes? Want to say hi to everybody while I'm... Little fact break with Baby Sansa. I love you, sweetie. This is Baby Sansa. Okay, little kitty break, and then we're back to the facts. Okay, sweetheart? I love you. I will be covered in cat hair for the rest of the video, so. The Neobuthus factorio, a species of scorpion from the Buthidae family, was named by one of the researchers after the video game Factorio, which was created by the researcher's son. The number of active 4-star generals, which is the highest officer rank in the US Army, is limited. This is set to 7 Army generals, 2 Marine generals, 8 Air Force generals, 2 Space Force generals, 6 Navy admirals, and 2 Coast Guard admirals. Disney's Animal Kingdom was the brainchild of Imagineer Joe Rohde, who had previously designed the Adventurers Club at Pleasure Island. When presenting the idea of the new animal-themed park, Rohde brought a 400-pound Bengal tiger into the meeting with Disney CEO Michael Eisner. Mike Millard was a legendary concert bootlegger. He would pretend to be handicapped in order to sneak in the recording equipment on his wheelchair. In Switzerland, dashcam footage is not usually allowed in court unless it helps solve a serious crime. Privacy laws make it hard to use, and traffic violations don't count as serious enough. During the Age of Sail, if a group was stranded without food, it was customary to kill and eat a member of the group, with the victim determined by lot. The practice was largely ended via a legal decision in 1884. Slingshot spiders use a tensioned web like a spring to launch themselves and their web at prey with 100 times the acceleration of a cheetah, making them the fastest arachnids. The Lady of the Dunes cold case was finally solved in 2023. It turns out the killer was her new husband, Guy Moldavin, who died in 2002. The Deep Purple song Smoke on the Water is about an incident at a casino where Frank Zappa was playing a concert, and a fan fired a flare gun which caused the casino to catch fire and burn down. In Tudor England, there was a type of criminal called the bare-top trickster. It was a woman who would flash her tatas to lure men into a house. Once the man was inside, he would be robbed by the woman's accomplices. Elton John, once dressed up in a gorilla costume, ran up on stage and freaked out an extremely stoned Iggy Pop. There are giant walled villages built by the Hakka ethnic group of China. Tulu could fit up to 800 people inside of them with farms, houses, and even markets. They were designed by the Hakka for protection from attacks by the Cantonese ethnic group by Punti in one of the many wars that they fought. The Knights Hospitaller, one of the many Catholic military orders that fought in the Crusades, exists today and briefly had an air force. Hey, thanks for watching. Click either of the links on screen now to watch more. Remember to follow me on Twitch because I'm live every day, link is in the description, and consider becoming a member for more exclusive content and 24-hour advanced access to all new videos. I'll see you next time.